Anna?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
So do you think farming is important?
I'm utterly convinced that farming has always been essential, not only for country's economics, but also for the society as a whole. And agriculture has advanced a lot in the recent years. Firstly, I tend to think that it's a huge boon to our economy. Farmers provide our food market with a huge amounts of food due to industrial farming techniques and genetically modified crops. That means that they distribute food in mass quantities. Moreover, they supply us with food full of vitamins and minerals, which means it is healthy and nutritious by cultivating fresh products like vegetables, fruits, and dairy products. Finally, farming provides employment for a whopping percentage of people in rural areas.
Thank you. That is the end of your speaking test. Do you really expect that the examiner is going to listen to you for so long for one question?
No.
Okay, so just 2 or 3 sentences, about 20 seconds. This is not part 2. So you don't need to prepare so much. So and you probably wanted to give like a really clever answer and cover all the aspects of the topic, maybe going back into history and so on. No, just you need to show your language, grammar structures, and some advanced vocabulary that you can, and that's all. So 2 or 3, because there will be 2 topics within 4 or 5 minutes. You'll have 2 topics from part 1. And it'll be farming and some other topic. So yeah, it shouldn't be so long. I didn't interrupt you, but examiner will. I was a Cambridge speaking examiner myself, and I know the instructions. So you have the timer in front of you, and after a certain second, you need to say thank you, and we can do this very politely, but very firmly. Okay, so next, have you ever visited a farm?
Yes, I visited farms several times, and every time it has been an unforgettable experience. It must have been years ago when I was little, when me and my family visited a real farm for the first time, where the peasant farmers were handling with the livestock farming and performed work in the fields to produce fresh products, and were selling them. Also, animals were placed in paddocks, so we had the chance to pet them and to feed them with some treats. Yeah, and really this time I experienced some unforgettable moments. Yeah, and we had the chance to try just prepared cheese and some dairy products.
Okay. Okay, good. So here, when I say when I was little, you could have said when I was a toddler. That's just an advanced expression for that means a small child. And then you can say fresh products, or you could say fresh produce with a stress on O, produce, to produce, but fresh produce, and that would be also really impressive if you said that. And again, it's a bit too long, but you'll just be stopped, and that's all. I mean, the next question will be asked by the examiner. And then, yeah, you could have also used some animals that you saw on a farm, and if they are advanced words, for example, you could say geese and ganders. So gander is like is a female word, is a male word for a goose, right? Or you could say mares and stallions. So it's he and she horse. So that will be advanced vocabulary that you can use. Okay, good. So part 2, that's waiting in a line, right? Waiting for something for a long time. Is it right?
Yeah.
Did you watch my video about this topic?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you can use any ideas or any vocabulary from that video. I'm trying to find
Yeah.
The task. Okay, so standing in line. Yeah. So describe an occasion when you were standing in line. You should say when it was, where you were, why you were there, and how you felt about it. Okay. So if you're ready, please start.
Yeah, I've been asked to talk about an experience when I had to wait in a queue. And the thing I can help telling you about is the time when I was in the airport. It must have been around some time ago, if my memory serves me right, when I was in a line at the check-in desk in the airport waiting for my flight. Yeah, I needed to get to the place as fast as I could because I had to solve some affairs with my documents abroad here in Italy. And I was standing in a line for a couple of hours. I had nowhere to sit, and it was very crowded. The crowd was full of screaming children, and people were exhausted and irritated. Yeah, so I spent whopping time queuing. Also, like moreover, it was a time of lockdown, and yeah, that's why everyone were wearing masks, and it was difficult to breathe. Um, all I wanted was to all I wanted to do was to get to the flight, just to sit in the plane, and yeah, just this terrible experience. I experienced like very very hardly, and worth mentioning, I hate lining up because I always die of boredom while waiting. Um, yeah, and not only I had to wait for so long, but also I had a great chance to get infected by COVID, which fortunately passed me by.
Okay. So not only it should be inversion, not only did I have to wait for
Yeah,
so long.
yeah, did I have?
Yeah, so it must have been around, you can say some time ago, because obviously it was some time ago, but it must have been, if my memory serves you right, but your memory doesn't serve you, didn't mention the period. So it must have been around, and just say what time it was. Like it must have been around a year ago, it must have been around a fortnight ago, it must have been, you need to give a specific time period. Um, Otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so not crowded, crowded, and you can also say that people were packed like sardines. It means there were lots of people in one place. Okay, there are some good grammar structures that you use. That's good. Now, what do you? It's part three. So some questions related to this. What do you think of those who jump the queue?
I believe that it's unfair to others who are waiting um, for hours in the queues. So everyone should take his time. Yes, uh, just to wait for. You should always wait for your turn because you're not special.
Okay, so you can also mention that like they're not only are they impatient, but they're also selfish, or they're adamant, means they're sure that they're the busiest people ever, or they're just in a hurry. Um, they put themselves and their time first, and they do not value other people's time. So, what can you do while waiting in line?
Um, I tend to think that while waiting in line, you can just simply stay on your phone, just to chat or to play games or study because you have free time, like you do nothing. Or you can you can also sometimes meet some people in the lines and get to know them and to chat to them too. I don't know.
Okay. You can also look through the newsfeed on social media. You can return phone calls and text messages, and you can catch up on the news, or maybe catch up um, on the news and latest gossip. Do you know the word gossip?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not so advanced, but and if you talk about getting to know a person who stands with you, this is called like a person standing in the same line will be called a fellow line dweller, and that would be a good way to call this person. And you can say you can spark up a conversation with a fellow line dweller.
Mhm.
Okay, so that will be okay, good. Now, how can a company maintain the quality of service that it gives to the public?
Mm, let's say they could do like their work faster. Maybe provide more staff, so the line can move quicker and faster, and yeah, train their personnel more.
Yeah, so they could spend generously on training personnel to adequately handle customer queries and complaints. Okay, right. Or you can say they can take steps to redeem the situation once a customer complains about poor service quality. So take steps to redeem. So like искупить. How can companies improve well, it's very similar. You can use some of the other ideas if you want. How can companies improve customer service?
Yeah, probably the same, that they can train their staff better, adequately handle the situations that can happen, and maybe provide people who are waiting with some service, additional service. Yeah.
Okay, why do people dislike waiting?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely just a waste of time, because usually people are hurrying. They have lots of affairs to do on the day, and they just need to spend time, just waste time, and that can irritate them. Yeah, because everyone wants to do like to finish the things faster.
Okay. Do people in your country like waiting in line?
I would say people from all over the world are the same, and they don't like to wait. Especially in Russia, we have a struggling situation with this kind of stuff, because we have really long lines. Because usually our services work like a bit badly. Yeah.
You can say не работают как часы. Doesn't work like doesn't run like clockwork. Yeah. Okay. So you can also say well, people, especially people in Russia, can't stand waiting in lines because of the nagging sensation that life is slipping away, or because they don't want to squander their time, like in stasis. They don't want to squander their time, like to waste their time. Okay. So what are the daily experiences that people have to wait for?
Um, like the simplest thing is the queue in the supermarkets, because everybody needs food and everybody wants to eat. That's why we always have queues in the supermarkets or any other services of everyday life. Yeah, moreover, traffic jams, um, because lots of people drive cars, and if there are too much people, uh, yeah, the traffic is a bit busy.
Okay, you can also say there are some clock watchers. Do you know who clock watchers are?
Not really.
It's an idiom. It means a person who is waiting for, who's looking at the clock or at the watch all the time, and he or she is thinks, okay, when is my working day going to finish? So if it finishes at 5 p.m. and then like this person looks at the watch, so, okay, 5 minutes to 5. Okay, now it's 5. Now I'm going home. It's a clock watcher. So some people are waiting for the end of their working day, and so they're clock watcher. There are some clock watchers, or the end of office hours, or they're waiting for a salary at the end of the month, or they're waiting for an opportunity to continue their journey in a traffic jam, because sometimes there is sometimes you can use this when you describe any traffic jam in any topic, not only about waiting. So sometimes we get stuck in stop and go, bumper to bumper traffic. Так что не видно ни конца и края. That there is no end in sight. Okay, so you can use these expressions. All right. Then, okay. Well, well, that is the end of your speaking test. So this was the last question.